Alright, so how do I look right now? I'm shooting on the Blackmagic Cinema full frame 6K, you know, the one that's just had the autofocus firmware update. And I just want to see today if this is a viable camera for doing kind of exploration, hiking kind of videos here on YouTube, because this camera can shoot in RAW. I don't have to worry about the settings as much as I would for another camera. The image quality coming out of this thing is fantastic. And now if it's got autofocus that should be tracking me, then it could be a viable option for YouTube. Now, this is still early stages, it's still in beta, so forgive it a little bit. Don't be too harsh on it. There's probably going to be some hunting on my face, especially when I'm backlit like this and I'm wearing a cap. So bear that in mind. But I will be going through all the different settings here and see which one works kind of best. So I've already spent 2 hours hiking to this point. I'm sweaty. Let's go back through the forest where it's a little bit more, not as kind of harsh light as this, and see how it copes. So face recognition right now, and we'll move on to continuous focus or tracking. I've noticed that tracking and face recognition seem to be the best for this camera, but let's see how it goes. Let's see how it works for a YouTube camera. I need it to work in slow motion. I need it to be able to kind of, you know, track me and record me as I'm doing talking head. And I need it to have enough dynamic range where, you know, I can kind of work it in post afterwards and still make it look as cinematic as possible. I want it to be a step up above my S5, and I think this camera can potentially get there once the firmware has become out of its beta moments. I'm tired. Let's get walking. My plan now is to object track on my face, on my bag if I can. So I'm going to kind of lean in and press the back of the screen. Yeah. Oh my god. Shady. Well, let's see if it does it right. Hopefully I'm in focus right now. I'm going to start walking down there. Let's see if it does the same. Alright, so I'm pretty certain I pressed the grass when I accidentally just pressed the subject track then. So I think the first video I did actually tracked me properly going down there, but I just missed the selection because I can't see. That's the one thing, you can't see what's on the screen, right, on this camera. So this is what it is. The one thing that's playing on my mind right now, I'm thinking, how long will the battery last doing this autofocus, right? Because right now I started off with a full battery. It's been what, 15 minutes of filming now, and I'm seeing it's going down a little bit. Let me just see what it's at. Just pop that on the screen there. All right, we're looking like we're about 75%. Hopefully it's got focus back on my face again. Yeah, 15 minutes, 75%. Seems about normal for Blackmagic camera, I think. So far so good. We'll see what happens. Right, I'm gonna walk down here a little bit and I'm gonna try and aim the camera up there and get some wildlife shots of these cows with the foliage in front. It's a good one to test to see if it locks on, because otherwise I keep trying tracking up and down. I either track the flowers or track the livestock. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna walk backwards. I'm gonna walk forwards. I'm gonna walk backwards. And I'm gonna turn around. Touch the focus. Let's see money. Touch the focus again. Now let's move over to like Super 16 so we can get in close. All right, now I'm going to switch over to AFC and then put the box over here. Let that do its thing, see what happens. So that's continuously looking for focus now with these cows. As you can see, it will pulsate a little bit, yeah? Let me go on subject tracking and just put it on a cow's head. Gonna pop it over there to the guy with the 2 ear tags, the flies. That's supposed to be continuously tracking now. As you can see, it's pulsating a bit because it's trying to go for the grass there. It's having a bit of a tough time. Let me focus on a different cow, the one in the middle. Yeah, seems to find that a little bit easier. So you gotta make sure whatever you're tracking has to be kind of not obscured by other things, but it is going in and out a little bit though. It's hunting quite a bit. I think if we had the ability to do some settings, like adjust the speed of the tracking, it could make a big difference. Finally, I'm just gonna do face tracking. I don't know why, it's never gonna work, is it? Yeah, it's all over the gaff. You know what? Weirdly, it seemed to track pretty decently in... What the hell is that? Oh, some weird spider. Let me get it off the lens. Yo. Oh, Lord. So I'm a city boy, right? Anyway, weirdly, it seemed to track better in 100 frames per second in Super 16 mode. You would have seen it hunting, right? But that's because I was flicking through all the different AF modes while I was there. So at first I was in AFC, continuous, seemed okay. A little bit hunty because it's constantly looking for something to focus on, right? No matter what, it'll always keep hunting. It's never gonna just fix. It's not a recognition kind of thing. Anyway, then I put subject track, put it on the cow's face, and it seemed to be okay. So more frames per second, more light, works better. But you knew that already, right? Let's get walking into the forest. That's weird. Okay, fun fact, right? Before we actually just jump right into the forest, when I switched over to open gate, for some reason you've got to disengage the face recognition and re-engage it again. So you see the button come off, so the blue come off and then the blue will come back on. So you basically switched it off and on again, right? And then I think it will track. So now it should be tracking. The last scene, for some reason, going from the 241 6K, it just wasn't tracking my face. Hopefully it's tracking my face now, but who knows, eh? Now let's go into the forest. So the battery is now reached about 40% and we've been filming over an hour now, so I'm pretty confident that the autofocus isn't corrupting the video that we're creating here. There's a few more tests that I want to do. I want to kind of handheld it and move the camera around, like, you know, you get the tracking kind of thing, because that's something that I do on my S5 quite a bit. I'm just wondering if object tracking, continuous, or face tracking would be best in that situation. And also, if I'm using this as a camera for YouTube, then also being able to take pictures. I don't know if I can take a picture while I'm recording, I don't know. But there is an ability to take photographs with this camera. The only thing is there's no self-timer or anything, so I can't walk in front of the video here and take a shot. I have to kind of take the scenery, or hopefully, if it's recording, take the shot here, or just take a selfie kind of thing. You know what I mean? Any of that makes sense? Hope so. Last thing as well is the microphones. I have not connected an external microphone to this. Everything you've been hearing today is through the 2 stereo microphones that are built into this camera. All right, so let me just do my final kind of face tracking slow-mo kind of thing that I'd like to do, just to kind of get a Michael Bay kind of situation. All right, so I've taken the camera off the tripod now, so we're handheld. Let's still put that there. We're on AFC right now, so let's just see how this kind of deals with it. I think the focus point should be in the middle of the camera, so as I'm moving around and just looking, hopefully it's got me in focus. Let's make it a little bit harder by going around to about 50%, 50 millimeters. I'm so tired, it's been a long walk, you know what I mean? And just see how it does then, see if it gets any focus on me, see if it's pulsating too much. Alright, now I'm going to switch over to tracking. Alright, now we're on subject tracking. I'm going to do the same thing again, just move around. Alright, and then finally, let's switch over to face recognition. Alright, and now we're on face recognition, so let's see what happens this time. So then, in conclusion, I think the firmware update, we didn't ask for autofocus in pre-existing Blackmagic cameras, so I could never ever really complain about what we've got. But in its beta form, it's not as good as obviously the competition, but it's really decent for a beta form AF system. It's just shocking. So once they finally get this finalized, and if we get some customization to this, like we can control the speed of it and things like that, I think this is gonna be absolutely fantastic, man. And I will definitely be using this camera a lot more for YouTube videos. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, stay around, hit subscribe, because there's gonna be a lot more videos from here in Switzerland. Peace.